On today's bonus episode, we're going to talk about every mom's favorite subject, Easter grass and glitter. Let's go. Welcome to Honest Mom Talk, the podcast where we drop the filters and talk about what motherhood really feels like. Around here, we're done pretending that we have it all together. We're talking mental health, identity, relationships, boundaries, politics, and the real emotional work of being a mom in today's world. So take a deep breath and let's have an honest conversation about motherhood. Hello, and welcome to the bonus episode of Honest Mom Talk, where today we're going to talk about Easter. As always, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jillian.
And Easter may be my least favorite holiday.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it is nothing but junk. And you would think that I would like it because it's got baskets and cute bunnies and lots of purple and zombies. But no, I hate Easter.
Funny enough, up until the previous couple of years, now that my kids go to a Catholic school, I didn't even pay attention to when Easter fell on the calendar.
I never know when it is either. I'm just like,
that holiday that keeps moving.
And like all that stuff is there. I should buy some of it so I can, like, I will say that I am probably the laziest Easter mom in my era of parenting.
Oh no, I will beat you on that one.
Like I just, it's so much, and it's such a prim and proper. I feel like Easter is a Southern holiday for sure.
Southern and or nationwide Christian.
Yeah. Like it is such a, like, because that's the thing. We talked about this with St. Patrick's Day before, where like this is a holiday rooted in religious tradition, but has now become so over-commercialized.
Yes.
That like I don't even know what it's about anymore. Like I still don't understand what rabbits have to do with Jesus.
I actually read something once that explained how the rabbit came in, but I can't even bring that up in the useless information.
I feel like that's worth a Google. I'm going to Google it.
You Google that.
Break for typing.
When my girls were little, I didn't really do anything for Easter. One, we are not a practicing religion family in any of the religions we're associated with. But that being said, I also never really saw the whole, oh God, I can't wait to hear what you're.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but you're going to fucking love this.
Oh, I'm here for it. I will pause my thought and you please tell me.
The Easter Bunny originated in German Protestant folklore as the Osterhase around the 17th century. Legend held that this hare judged children hiding colorful eggs in gardens for those who were well behaved, a tradition brought to America by the Pennsylvania Dutch in the 1700s. But the fact that the Easter Bunny is me?
I love, okay, maybe I might be jumping on that Easter bandwagon.
Maybe I need to change my tune. We are an Osterhase and a Krampus family, children.
Oh, hey, you know what? We're on a new set of holidays. Like, throw it in there.
Yeah, we're Grimm Brothers family holidays only.
I know.
That's it. I had no idea.
Me neither, because like growing up, I remember getting pictures with like creepy looking Easter bunnies.
Yeah.
And they would give you like candy or something. I don't know. But even growing up, we had a basket full of like chocolates and jelly beans as a family that we would get.
Mm-hmm.
But as like I got older and then friends of mine started having kids, it turned into like a second Christmas of shit you would get. And I didn't kind of quite understand it. And then once my girls came along, because we're not big into gifts in general, like I'm not a super mean mom, but like,
yeah,
I don't just buy a gift for shits and giggles. Or because it's a holiday with a bunny that judges you. We never really did anything. We didn't do baskets. We didn't do anything else. And it wasn't until my girls got to be in like kindergarten, I think it was, and other kids started talking about egg
Yep.
hunts. And my one daughter came home and she's like, "What are these people talking about?" And then I realized just how much I kind of like stunted my kids, which I learned even more every day. But anyway, they they had no idea what these other kids were talking about for egg hunts because we had never had one as a family, and I've never taken them to like the town egg hunt because that was overwhelming to me.
It's we're gonna circle back to egg hunts in a minute because I want to talk about how they've become like a WWE style event.
Exactly.
Um, it's utter insanity. But I think you hit the nail on the head there talking about how, I remember we each had little Easter baskets of our own. And we would get like the chocolate bunny,
Mhm.
which fun sidebar, that's how I found out that holiday mythos didn't exist because
Ooh.
I went out the front door and my mom was doing like a cartel exchange with the boy down the street because she had bought the Easter bunnies from him for his fundraiser. And I like witnessed the exchange and just stood on the top step, like, and I was in third grade. And then it all just like, it was like a flashback, like a weird montage in my brain of like all the things that didn't add up,
Mhm.
like the inconsistencies in the tooth fairy's distribution of finances, like how Santa couldn't bring me a puppy, but I watched it in movies all the time,
Mhm.
and like all these things, and I was like, oh my god, like so maybe that's why I hate Easter because Easter, a lot of smoke in the Catholic Church for Easter,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and it ruined my belief. And my mom like threatened me. She's like, "Don't you say a word to your brother if you ruin the holidays for them." And I was like, "Okay." Um, but like that was it. It was like jelly beans and a chocolate bunny.
Yeah.
And now it's like the rule of 5 also applies to Easter. Something they can read, something they can wear, something like
Even more
something
than
they
that,
can.
I had like a friend of mine that last year she gave for the Easter bunny brought her daughter a Stanley, some of those bubble face watch stuff, all of this stuff, a new band for her Apple Watch, everything. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, one, I'm also not a name brander. My kids got families. Like, they are not getting name brand shit.
I mean, that's a whole other episode about like how dehydrated we grew up. Maybe that's why we're tougher
Yeah,
because we didn't have fucking $50 water
that
bottles.
too. That too.
But I mean, it goes along the same thing. We talked about the leprechaun traps and we
Yes.
talked about Elf on the Shelf, and it's like this constant consumerism of one-upping one another. And like I've already told my kids, "Hey, got a note from the Easter bunny, and because of Merlin, he's not bringing eggs to our house."
Makes sense.
Because I'm like and I asked my parents, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy these like pre-filled eggs. Do you mind hiding them around your house so the kids can do an egg hunt?"
You know what? I could get on bandwagon with that because my mother even turned around the other day and she's like, "What are we doing next weekend for dinner?" And I was like, "Oh, Easter, you mean?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I don't know." She goes, "We should get a honey ham and just all sit around and eat it." I'm like,
Like, do they just like raccoons?
and we do. It's like you walk by and just grab some ham and get on with your life.
My dad likes the pomp and circumstance of carving meat. Like, I don't think he
Ooh.
gets to do it often enough. So he likes to carve a ham and a turkey. And we hosted Thanksgiving this year, and he was like, "Matthew, do you mind?" And Matthew's like, "I don't care.
Have
Like,
at it.
whatever. This is some weird boomer dad thing.
It
You gotta
is.
carve a turkey." But I think like other I just remember Easter always being such a like formal
It
holiday. And
was. It
that's
was definitely formal back in the olden days
yeah,
because
like you
my
had to have a nice
yeah, we had a
dress.
nice dress, we had all of that, like, my
You had
dad
to go to church.
yeah, my dad was very religious. We definitely went to church with him on, like, Christmas and Easter and all of that. We had the fancy dress with the white puffy socks and everything.
And like the lace little
Yep.
collar.
Sometimes
Yep.
we had hats, like it
Hmm.
was a thing. We did that, then we would go home and have the dinner, everything else. But it was more a show in look at me and my family and how nice we dress from the Sears
Yeah.
catalog.
3 times a year, we can get our shit together.
Exactly. And then I remember like at one point my girls were really little and my mom had been out shopping somewhere and she's like, "Oh my god, I saw so many cute Easter dresses." She says, "I was going to pick them up for the girls." And I'm like, "Why the fuck would you do that?" And she's like, "Because they're so beautiful and they can wear them." I'm like, "To what? Play in the mud in the backyard?" Like, we don't go to church. We don't do those kind of things. They will literally put them on and play in the mud. Like, there is no point for them to have nice dresses.
Right. Like my mom, I don't, I think things have just shifted so much
Drastically.
between our parents. And I think it's that like greatest generation baby boomer to like Gen X millennial gap.
No, I will get you here. And it leads into another one of our episodes we are going to be doing. Our people pleasing has
Yes.
just completely tanked. Like where before we would just continue the same tradition
Mm-hmm.
because this is what we do and we would follow along. But now our generation is like, the fuck we do. I want to do this, or our family now does that. And that's where these generation of traditions, even though nobody likes half of them, but we just did them
No.
because it was always done that way, where they have made such a drastic shift. I think that
And
therapy is the other one.
yes, that's what I was going to add. Mental health awareness and the, you know, I think of, I reference this episode a lot. I think of the show The Bear on FX.
Never watched.
There's an episode about the dinner or the night of 7 fishes, which is like an Italian tradition around Christmas where you cook fish 7 different ways, which I'm like, is there 7 ways to cook fish? Like, but Jamie Lee Curtis plays the mom and she's like absolutely fucking unhinged. And it's just like this loud Italian Chicago family, like, and they're just yelling at each other in the house and all this stuff. And like the episode ends with her being drunk and driving through the front of the house in her car.
I love it.
And I'm like, that episode, when we were done, Matthew's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, this reminds me, not to a T, I don't want to exaggerate, but like so many of my family functions as a child, because it didn't matter who was beefing with who wasn't talking, like who was fighting with whatever, we all had to fucking be there. And Easter was my mom's family's holiday. So that was the family where we didn't see each other very often because we lived in different places. And so it was very much that for us, where like we had to be clean. We had to look nice. And we just had to show up, shut up, and participate. And it just like, I just think you're spot on with that like we've just stopped caring. But I think we've swung the pendulum the other way, whereas like we're not trying to impress our families, but we're trying to live in that social media moment.
Correct. We're trying to impress people you will probably never meet ever in your life.
Like, I want everyone to know that, like, and don't get me wrong, that also comes into play the whole influencer affiliate shit, where people are like, "I bought these eggs and they don't have candy and they have 10,000 squishies in them instead." And like my beef as a mom with Easter is the amount of shit, like just crap stuff that it brings into my home.
That's every fucking holiday in my mind.
It is. Yeah, because it's stocking stuffers, like leprechaun leavings. I don't even know what they're called.
I don't even know. Well, this is the thing. So I also get stuck in a lot of these things between the whole candy and shit, as we call it, because I've got one kid who will eat all of the candy and chocolate in the world all the time. And I've got another who does not like any candy or chocolate. And it made a lot of those kinds of things, like where people are like, oh, I got a treat or this kind of thing. It made it very difficult for certain things for us. Um, where I just didn't know what to do. So then a lot of times rather than deal with that struggle, I did nothing at all.
Yeah.
But in
Like
other
avoid
ways,
it instead of being uncomfortable. Yeah.
exactly. But then in other ways, I kind of looked at it like, do you know what? I'm also that firm believer in you don't need to just give your kids things for the sake of just giving it to them all the time. But then there are times that you can say, you know what, I got you this. And it was just because it was a random Tuesday. And if you do that few and far between, you make more grateful children.
Well, and I don't know a single person who enforces the like Santa's watching, the Easter Bunny's watching. Like, I don't know. I've never encountered a parent who actually enforces the if you're not good, you don't get
Correct. We
thing for the
threaten with
holidays.
it. We threaten with it.
Yeah. Actually, my husband will not allow me to threaten with it. And he's corrected my parents as well
I
when they do
love
it.
that.
Because he's like, they should just fucking behave. But I'm just like, why do you get so he goes, because that's not right. Like they should just behave, not behave because they're gonna get something.
Correct. And
And
I
he's not wrong.
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And I 100% agree with him. But then eating my own words.
Right.
There was times when I was going through a hard time with Charlotte and the way she was acting up and ADHD and everything else. And you better believe I pretended to call Santa
Oh yeah.
and I saved my best friend's husband still to this day is saved in my phone as Santa because I had to call him when Charlotte was like 4 years old.
Well, and that's the thing. In the moment of survival, you're gonna use that tactic.
Correct.
But I
And that's
think
okay.
it there's just so much of like the planning and the execution and everything with all of these holidays that end up falling on mom.
Yes.
And it's not fair. Like, we talked about Easter grass for a second, and like my husband will bitch about the Easter grass, and I'm like, then find an alternative to put in the basket. Like, I'm already buying the paper Easter grass. I said, they have edible Easter grass. Would you like me to
Really?
buy that?
They have
Yeah, it's like
edible
gum or
Easter
something.
grass?
Yeah.
Have you gotten it? Have you tried it?
No, I have not. I'm pretty sure it's like coconut or gum or something.
No. I hate coconut.
But it's like, let's circle back to those egg hunts.
Oh, okay.
Because like very cool community-based event, should be fun, peaceful, happy.
They're not anymore.
I have seen more grown adults
Oh yeah.
physically altercate with each other
Over
at
things that are
Easter
kids.
egg hunts because they're like, my children deserves all the eggs. And I'm like, you shouldn't even be allowed to cross the fucking line.
Our town has one. I have never gone to see it. I've never gone to be a part of it, anything else. I have heard stories. I have read the Facebook fights after. I mean, it's insane between the way the kids are, the way the parents are. Like it is absolutely shocking. And then when my one daughter found out about it the one year, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, we can do an egg hunt. I'm like, how about I'll get daddy and that and Granda, we'll get one set up at the house. So that's what we did. Now, because my father the way he was, we couldn't just get like 20 eggs and hide them around the house. My father bought 150 eggs for
Jesus.
2 kids. And then he stuffed it full of coins with money because he had change. We had change everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to put candy in it because Charlotte doesn't eat candy and Catherine does. And what else am I going to put in it? And he goes, this is fun. He's like, I've got a bunch of like pennies, nickels, dimes, whatever. And then he had 2 that had a dollar bill in it. He and my husband and my best friend's husband hid 150 eggs over 6 acres of land.
Did you find all 150?
No, that we're still, I remember like years later, my friend saying, I found another egg, like just on like a random Tuesday in July. It was
one of my favorite, like one of my favorite Bob's Burgers episodes is about Easter. And they hide real eggs, which like we hid real eggs when I was a kid.
Ugh.
We did the dyeing and we hid them, but we only had 12.
Yeah.
But and on Bob's Burgers, they do 24, and then Bob and Linda drink a bottle of wine and hide the eggs. And then whoever's egg is found last wins. But that year, the kids only found 23 eggs. So there's a hard-boiled egg somewhere rotting
That is like
in
my
their house.
fear. I think they'd had that on another like sitcom show about that at one point. And that's the thing. Like I, those kind of things. Like I remember dyeing eggs as a kid.
Yeah.
And then only me and my father would actually eat them. My sister's
see, I love my grandma would make deviled eggs with them.
Oh, I don't like deviled eggs. Nope. I just like a regular hard-boiled egg.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't do it with my kids. I like never thought. There's like so many things later on that I'm like, I never did this with my kid. Like I'm really missing out like on some of these like traditions that we probably should have done but never did.
Like, but that's the thing. Like that stuff is fun, but it's also work.
It is.
Like you got to have the vinegar and all the stuff. Like last year,
we did it once ever. When the girls were probably like 5 and 6, it made an absolute mess. And they were like, "Okay, this is fun," and then moved along. On a side note, my kids never carved a pumpkin until last year. And we did it, and my one daughter was like, "This was the most revolting thing ever. Never make me do it again."
I love Halloween. Like I have the Mickey Mouse Disneyland Halloween pumpkin on my arm. I fucking love Halloween. I hate carving pumpkins. I think carving pumpkins is the dumbest fucking. We paint pumpkins. And I'm so lazy. We don't even paint. I use these Sharpie paint markers.
Ooh.
And my kids had the best fucking time.
I believe it. That's another side episode.
Then we threw the pumpkins in the backyard, and like I had Matthew smash them a little, and we got to watch the deer eat them. It was great.
Yeah.
But last year for Easter, and I'll try to find the video and post it in the show notes, I did food coloring in shaving cream.
Oh.
And then Miles kind of rolled the eggs around in that, or he could like paint it on there. And it worked really well. And it was a lot easier than like the dipping and everything. Yeah. I'm sure my parents will want to be like, we'll do it with them. And I'm like, pop off. Like, that's great. But like, I think it's okay for us at this juncture to continue to mention, if you don't want to do it, it's fine. Yep. And like 90% of the time, your kids don't realize until they're in school that they're missing out on anything. And by then you just say, yeah, it's just not something we do.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's the problem, is there's so many extra things and there's so many ways that we should be quote unquote achieving as moms that it's not sustainable. And then you feel bad and it's bullshit. Like I buy pre-filled eggs and then I find either a like church group or like our daycare wants egg donations because they do an egg hunt. So once the eggs are empty, I'm like, here you go, take them. I have to tell a fun story about the pre-filled eggs. The ones I buy have stickers and then jelly beans. And they're actually good jelly beans. Like the quality of jelly beans has dramatically improved in our lifetimes.
Oh, I will agree with that because I had a Starburst jelly bean and they were fantastic. I'm like, what is this miracleness? Because jelly beans in the 80s were revolting.
Right. Like the Brock's.
Yeah.
Like no shame to Brock's. You do some amazing things, but your jelly beans were trash in the 90s. Yeah, Starburst and Welch's do some nice ones.
Oh, I didn't even know Welch's made them.
Yeah, girl, go look in the Easter aisle. The store-bought eggs are great, and I bought them, and so it's like stickers and jelly beans. And I put them out in our backyard when Miles was like 2, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be so cute, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I see one drop in front of my kitchen window, and I'm like, what the fuck? The squirrels in our backyard were taking, and so I went out there, and there was like 16 that they had opened, and you'd see them, like they'd run, and so I like stood there and watched, and they'd come down, they'd grab one, they'd get up in the tree, they'd pry it open, and if it was stickers, they'd throw it to the ground. And I'm like, you've done 20 of these. You can't tell which ones have jelly beans and which ones have stickers. It's a different weight. But yeah, that was funny. Like, but so I've told the kids already that this year, because of the puppy and the amount of creatures in our backyard, that like eggs will not be distributed here. Like, I got a note from the Easter Bunny, but like, do what works for you. So if
Mhm.
you don't want to go to an egg hunt, don't go to an egg hunt. If grandma and grandpa want to take over hiding 150 eggs on 6 acres,
Let them.
let them. Like, you don't have to be the ringmaster
Yep.
for all the holiday chaos.
And just
And if
because you see a mom on social media post cupcake Easter baskets with a chocolate shell basket made and all of that stuff does not need that you need to do the exact same goddamn thing.
nope, like store-bought is good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the utmost sympathy for moms who deal with like a lot of food allergies. And
Yeah.
so like they do have to cook and bake and do a lot of that stuff on their own, because you do want your kids to have these experiences.
Yeah.
But I think the big takeaway is you don't have to do it all at the same time.
No.
Like, if you want to make special cupcakes for St. Patrick's Day, cool. Then you don't have to make special cupcakes for Easter. Or you can make special cupcakes next year for Easter. But like, we struggle enough with these conversations and these boundaries with our families around holidays. Why are we intentionally making shit harder for ourselves by, your Easter basket should be a basket, not a room.
Correct.
Like, if your kid wants something, like I think of like the Stanleys have been big for a couple years with like young teenagers.
Oh yeah.
You want to get them a Stanley for Easter because they've got the cute pastels, fine. But like, you don't need a Stanley and Drunk Elephant skincare and like a Clinique travel set, and like they don't need all that stuff. And I'm not judging you as a parent,
Yeah.
but like, think of the kid whose parents who can't afford the Stanley.
We talked about that back on our Christmas episode, that I
Yeah.
remember someone telling me years ago about how she wished people wouldn't post so much about what they got their kids for Christmas from Santa,
Right.
because then it made her kids sit there and say, well, why am I not good enough? Why did Santa
Right.
not bring that to me? Because not everyone is in the same situation. And I know, because I've mentioned this to friends of mine before, and the one woman's like, well, it doesn't matter to me. I'm giving my kid what I want because I love my kid and that's what I want to do. Okay, well, that's what you want to do.
And that's an unhealed part of them. Like, that's what that is. That's a lack of communal awareness.
Correct.
And like, I am judging you for that. Like,
and it's hard also because I feel I just keep getting reminded of my one daughter made a comment about this too. The Harry Potter movies and Dudley. I
yeah.
remember watching that
56.
movie. Yeah, I remember watching that movie in my 20s. And I know a lot of times they say, especially a lot of us that have gone through therapy, random things in your world will hit you in completely different ways.
Yeah.
And I've read certain books or watched certain movies or seen certain things where it wasn't always the intended outcome, but it affected me completely differently. And one of those, like watching Dudley and how he was, I remember sitting there saying, I am never.
I will never have a Dudley.
And it's not in the way where a lot of us say, oh, when I have kids, they're not going to have any tech and they're not going to do this. No. This is like a holy shit. No, I am definitely not going to do this to me or my kid.
I will say my husband and I just had this conversation because I told him I had bought these bath bombs from TikTok for Easter.
Cool.
Because I'm all for consumables, right? Like shit that's not going to be around my house for a long time. We're getting to the point with my son where he is 7, where this child needs to learn some gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to learn some appreciation. And he was, I will say, on our last Disney trip, he was the most grateful child ever. So I think we've like turned a corner of entitlement with him, where he realizes he's a big brother. We have bills and things we have to pay, and we have like, there's an expectation of behavior to receive. And I realize how bougie that sounds, like, on our most recent Disney trip. It's my addiction. Let me have it.
Yeah.
But he was very grateful. And he was like, let me help you. Let me take this picture. Let me do these things to help you do your work. Um, but so like we're getting there. But I said, we're going to have to start pulling back and making them understand. Like, and that's why we made the choice early on. Santa brings one thing.
Same.
And it's not their biggest thing. Like, it's never, you know, Santa's not bringing switches and puppies and Power Wheels and stuff like that. Santa's bringing like a deck of Pokemon cards, or Morgan got a Disney princess jewelry box. Like, Santa brings things that other kids like. But he asked me this year, he was like, well, why do we only get one present from Santa? I said, because that's the deal Dad and Mom made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, you're not lying, like, you're already lying to your kid about the Easter Bunny and Santa anyway.
Exactly.
So, like, we can do things differently. Like, I think of, again, I reference TV a lot. I probably should read more books. But, like, there was an episode.
The books I read do not give a lot of parenting help.
There was an episode of Bluey where they talked about, like, the girls were saying dunny, which is, like, Australian slang for toilet. And they're like, we don't say dunny. And they're like, well, Chloe's family says dunny. And it's like, families do things differently.
Correct.
And like, this will segue. I mean, this applies to every episode we do, but like, figure out what works for you and your family. And like, you know, hiding. I remember my mom used to hide pennies in Easter eggs, and I was like, trash. Like, I would just leave those for my brother. But like, if you have a kid who doesn't want candy, just do all coins, or do pencil erasers, or like do whatever you want.
We did the pencil erasers a couple times, and they had more fun organizing all the pencil erasers, because I bought like 100 pack off of Amazon. And here's the thing, I always tried to find things that would keep them engaged after. So like with the coins, my dad just was like, here, I've got a shit ton of coins, let's fill these eggs. My girls opened all of those eggs on the table. They had more fun piling like coins together. They couldn't really count yet, but they kind of like half figured it out, that kind of thing. And then they started trading their coins, so they had even numbers with their sizes and everything else. And then the same thing the year we did with the erasers. They had more fun organizing the erasers, which, on a side note, probably explains a lot more of both isms.
Were they in a line?
I know. But they like organized them, and then they started making patterns, because there was like one that was a bunny, and one that was an egg, and one that was carrots, and like all of that. And then that kept them busier for hours doing that than eating a shit ton of chocolate that they would have been bouncing off the fucking wall anyway from.
Yeah. And I like we do a mix. Like, my husband was like, oh, you made your hair appointment the day of the school Easter egg hunt. I'm like, cool. If you want to take them, great. Everything doesn't have to be a whole family group activity around these holidays. Mm-mm. I do, however, want to buy a bunch of little 3D printed Jesuses and throw them at people and be like, he's back. Because we didn't even get into that part of it. And I don't want to be.
I think we'll save that for next year's Easter.
Yeah, I don't want to be blasphemous and disrespectful, but like the whole Easter
Funny
thing.
Enough, my daughters who go to Catholic school, and I've got one who has really embraced the religion and the other who hasn't. And my one daughter,
I know which one.
Yeah, my one daughter is Veronica in Stations of the Cross this year, and she is taking it so seriously because she has to wipe Jesus's face as he is going through his trials and everything. And my other daughter is like, that is the most revolting thing that is ever, and he's still going to die whether or not you wipe his face.
Better than washing his feet.
And this is what we have going on with our family right now.
That's such an interesting dynamic. But all be told, we'll wrap this up here before we start crossing that religious line. Easter is just another one of those mom holidays where you get to decide the invisible mental load that you carry. It's never going away. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and be one of those like coaches, counselors, whoever, who's like, you can make everything 50-50 and equal. Like, it's not gonna happen. And like, sorry to all those fair play coaches and everyone. It's a great system if it works. When you're dealing with a neurospicy family with different cultures and backgrounds and all of this stuff that you've created, and it's amazing, things are going to stick and things aren't going to. And as your kids get older, things are going to change. Like, I'm excited to watch my kids work together, big air quotes there, on an egg hunt this year, because I think they're finally there. But I'm also kind of like, shit, I need to go buy the pre-filled eggs before they're gone, because before the churches and the schools all get a hold of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's fine. That's what my family does. We're going to sit around, maybe watch a hockey game, eat ham, and then criticize the cheesy potatoes that none of us wanted to make. But if it's not there, we'll be upset. And you just have to do the best you can do.
Exactly.
And it's just Easter. And half the time where I live, it's too cold to do anything anyway.
Yeah. I remember years where there was snow on the ground for Easter.
Mm-hmm. I remember skating outside for Easter. So take care of yourself. Don't worry about your kids melting down or getting their dresses muddy, because it's just another day.
It is.
And
there's always next year. You can fuck it up again next year.
Feel free to message us or DM us with your Easter traditions, your Easter hatred. You help me unpack my revelation that occurred in Easter of 96, and we'll all get through this together. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening and taking time out of your busy day to listen to a real and honest conversation. If today's episode hit home, take a second to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. Don't forget to share this with another mom who may need a little more honesty in her day. You can find more community and support anytime at honestmomtalk.com or follow us on Instagram at honestmomtalkpod. Remember, motherhood isn't easy, but it's better when you're honest.